Look at this little baby. So cute. Just want your ear scratched off. Okay, so I've forgotten to film the last couple days, so I think I'll fill you guys in while I do some meal prep. I'm making baked oats, which is the start of this, and then I'm going to follow the directions on the back of this packet that I got from IKEA for some lemon dill sauce for some fish, for my protein meals for later in the week. But for the baked oatmeal, I've got mashed banana and 1 egg in here. I'm going to add about a cup and a half of milk, and hopefully that'll cool things down enough or separate the butter and the egg enough so that my melted butter doesn't curdle anything, question mark. And then just bring everything back up to 2 cups. Because I'm improvising a little bit, but the recipe kind of seemed like 2 cups dry oats per a total 2 cups wet ingredients. So hopefully that'll work. This is 2 cups of oats. I'm adding in, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Whoa. The raisins, craisins, and remaining nuts and chewies that I kept, that is the remainder of my trail mix that I picked out all the good stuff from. So I'm going to break those apart, add these in. And then incorporate my wet, put it into a tray, bake it up. And then I'll have baked oatmeal, which is 1 less step of me having to put together my oatmeal at the beginning of the day. Hopefully I can build a better habit about actually eating oatmeal. But as for my day, yesterday I spent about half the day figuring out that I need a new valve set up for one of my watering zones, because it was just turning on, not turning off, no matter what I did. So that's a lot of digging and stuff that I didn't want to do. Irrigation just kind of annoys me. I feel like if you get a system, if you buy a house, you should get an irrigation system that works, and that's just not reality. So that was my annoying thing that happened yesterday. So I decided to spend the rest of the day kind of doing what I wanted. So I deadheaded all my tulips. I mowed the lawn. I got a ton of weeding done, probably more than my body could have handled, because the next day I spent a lot of time procrastinating just because I was so sore. But next day being today. So what I did today was I went out and I bought a bunch of dirt to replant a bunch of my stuff in. So I managed to, what did I manage to do? I planted a bunch of things in the front yard. I got all my seedlings that were outdoors, except for the more temperature sensitive things like okra and the butterfly blue pea flower that's a little more tropical. Also, I know this is just a great glamour shot. Look at all this raw meat. Gross. Anyway, Anyway, the okra and the pea flowers are going to stay indoors until it's properly hot out, because it was in the 40s to 60s today with a little bit of rain going on. But all my stuff like nasturtiums, and I brought some Solomon seal, get in there. And I bought some alyssum and lobelia. All that stuff went into the front sun slash shade garden. So less food production, more just looking pretty, which I'm okay with. Technically you can eat nasturtiums, they're not my jam. Yeah, I got all that done today, and I kind of cleared the way for tomorrow. Finally getting all of my slightly anemic, slightly less anemic, store-bought, started from seed, every different little piece of tomato seedling I want to get in the ground. Every borage plant, every bee balm plant, everything I start from seed, everything I want in the ground tomorrow, because tomorrow's the last day of my 5-day spring planting vacation, and I want to get at least that bit done. There is quite a lot of digging and weeding that I haven't gotten complete yet, but I'm okay with that. Through this vacation, I have started getting up a little bit earlier, so I'm hoping I can carry that through into next week, where I can get up a little bit early before work, get some gardening done, and just make progress forward in my garden, get my goals started. A lot of this like hard digging stuff I really kind of put off, so I'm hoping the system where I wake up a little bit early, get a little bit of sweating in, and then go to work, just like piecemeal it, will work to actually get me moving forward on my goals. So yes, hopefully the next piece of footage is this beautiful and golden, and my baked oats thing also looking beautiful and golden. I know they're a little raw right now. But yeah, see you in a bit. So, my okra are doing great. I've potted them up. But in the course of all of this, I've realized that my little fruit fly problem or fungus gnat problem is bad enough that there are actually eggs and stuff underneath the leaves of these. And I put a lot of investment into these okra because they do not have the environment outside. So here I am, being super, super fiddly and going in with a little brush to get all of these dumb little eggs off the bottom of these. A little difficult one-handed. But yeah, that's life in the seed starting corner right now. But as you can see, we've got a gangly bunch of teenage okra, which hopefully with a little bit of TLC will survive until it's hot enough outside that I can stick them out there where something else can eat those bugs instead of me having to knock their eggs off. So, yep. So I've used the last of my Sunday making 3 trips to different construction stores, home improvement stores, to figure out the 2 valves that were here and here. First one was to get the valves after researching. Second trip was to get the fittings now that I've dug and excavated this thing. And the third was realizing that these are 1-inch pipes and not 3/4 pipes. And I'd bought everything in 3/4, so I had to go to the store, but the store was like 2 seconds from closing. So, thankfully, It's not raining in the next couple days, so this thing isn't going to flood. Um, but yeah, I'm going to go console myself with some ice cream slash carbs slash whatever. So, ugh.
Voiceover Heather here with some quick fire commentary. Finally got all of my planting done. Here's some tomatoes in the pots, some Romas and cherries, along with some cool season sugar snaps that can handle the cold. Up here in the planter, I tucked in a little white nasturtium there right next to the lavender and the Asiatic lilies. I got some violas and some volunteer daffodils in the front. The lighter green guys here are some store-bought green onions that I just planted in last year, and we finally got some flowers. So hopefully I can get some seed from that and plant them in. Next we've got some rose geranium and some parsley, and here we got a nodding onion that I popped in earlier, doing real well. Mint bed just going bonkers. So happy about that. Most of this is lavender mint. The kind of rounder mint in the back is orange. The main center stage guy here is the agastacia. And oh, here is the a little more opened up, the lilac. Smelling real good. Not quite to the point where I can smell it a couple feet away, but still pretty good. This bed is some marjoram and mint and other things that I had grown from seed last year that had only come back. Lithidora, the blue flower in the front, is doing real good. Here I am testing out which plant is which because I kind of forgot what they look like. But
Oregano, marjoram, basil,
it's a
hopefully.
purple basil I picked up um, at the garden fair. And some chamomile over here. And my seed starting setup. I moved it outdoors. Hopefully this is all fine. But that's just a bunch of greens and stuff. This is the future bed of some sun-loving runner beans with some nasturtiums and stuff in the front. Some chives that I seeded last year are finally coming up with some mums in the front. The mums overwintered pretty well, actually, so I'm happy about that. Here are the square planters that I tucked in more Roma tomatoes with my potatoes in front. Turn this little front area here into kind of a pollinator garden with the lavender. The little itty bitty guys are more agastacia and more agastacia in front. They're a little gangly right now. I had just planted them. Um, in the center of the screen there, the big green guy is a Russian sage that came back, which I'm excited about. And then back to this bit over here. These two are the what is it? The French vanilla marigolds that I got at the fair. They are different from the white marigolds that I have seeded myself elsewhere. So I'll see kind of throughout the season how that plays out. But I've also popped in some borage and bee balm and sunflowers in there to play nice with the tomatoes. Here's the main tomato planter with the best sun exposure.
Let's see. Bee balm, tomatoes, white marigold, red onion, got chives from last year, and red veined dandelion from last year, which is not growing up like your average weed. I'll say that much. It looks very strange. But I do need to start harvesting off of this. Here's more space for beans. I have not planted beans yet. I've still in this first little wigwam for more tomatoes. There's onions here, and I've dotted some various pollinator flowers like sunflower. Got more of the marigolds and bee balm. Got a line of sunflowers down here because this is the sunniest spot. But I'm leaving this mostly for beans. Same with this area. These are kabocha squashes that I'm keeping under cover to keep them away from squirrels. But I'll have beans going up this trellis as well. And this is my pot that I put in the sunniest location. I've got some sunflowers to take up the space. This is a comfrey plant. And then this is going to be a Jerusalem artichoke. Eventually, the Jerusalem artichoke is going to take up the whole container because it is a vigorous rhizobial spreader. But that's what that one's for. Got some blooms just ready, or some buds just ready to bloom on the rose bush over here. And then I've dotted a couple sunflowers in here. Mostly cleared out most of the spent tulips and daffodil buds out of here. Got rudbeckia, some various lavenders popped in here and there. The red onions that I put in here earlier are doing pretty okay. And then another spot for beans. And then at a later date, once I've gotten my irrigation figured out, this is going to be filled with things that don't need consistent water supply but do need good drainage, like rosemary and thyme and all those kind of Mediterranean herbs.